Greetings, everyone. It's a fine Saturday, the 4th of October 2025. I trust you are all well and that you are coping with what you have on your plate today. A few days ago, the United Kingdom President Starmer announced the digital ID for the United Kingdom. The announcement said that by the end of the year, nobody would be allowed to work in the United Kingdom without having the digital ID. This has huge implications for the UK as well as the world. Why would I say also the world? Well, because the next country would be the United States of America, which in biblical terms is referred to the daughter of Babylon. That is the part in Europe coming from Rome. Then after the USA, it will be introduced in other countries as well. That's why I say it has huge implications starting in the UK. Well, for instance, here in South Africa, President Ramaphosa has already announced that from, I think it is the 2026 licenses, car licenses will have to be biometric, which is also introducing this digital system of a kind. And then why would I say huge implications for the world? Well, it's the introduction or the further introduction of the BEAST system. If you're not aware of what is referred to as the BEAST system, please study or consult some of my previous videos. Or in social media, there's other people who also talk about the BEAST system. Also, the implication is that this is a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Why would I say that? Well, in the book of Revelations, the last book of the Bible, Revelations 13, there's reference to this beast. And I'll elaborate on it later on in this video. But just to say that this is not just the introduction, it is the further introduction of the BEAST system, because at this stage now in 2025, most, if not all people have cell phones. And the cell phone is used for a host of things. Banking is done already through cell phone apps, banking apps, payments, transactions, and so forth. All of this is actually leading towards this BEAST system and increasing its outreach. So nobody will be allowed to buy or sell according to Revelations 13, verses 16. Let me just read it for you to bring you up to speed on this one. I'm reading from the King James Version, Old English. It says here in verse 16, and he calls it all. And I want to emphasize all. Both small and great, that is, in other words, ordinary folk or very rich or powerful people in society, all of them, rich and poor, free and bond, those even in the prison and those that are walking free, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now we're saying that this digital ID is actually a precursor to this system here. Verse 17 says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. I'm just going to read up to that because it actually echoes the words nobody will be able to. So in the UK, nobody will be able to work unless they have the digital ID. And in South Africa, for instance, we've been using the Green ID book But now we've been moving towards the card, and from the card it's going to move to this kind of system. So the digital ID is a precursor to the B system. It's one of the most important foundations for the B system to operate. Because if the B system is to reach to this stage where nobody will be able to buy and sell, say that they've got this mark or they've got this in their right hand or in their forehand, it is clearly seen that this is a precursor to that situation where there will be total control over what people are doing, because people already have computers and cell phones, which is basically a computer in your hand, and once they've got control of all your information through this system, the digital ID, because they've got control over every aspect of your information, your money, your health care, what you're buying and what you're selling, where you're going, your travel movements, etc., will be clearly being accessed through the digital system, everything about you. So this will implement complete control. Like I said, your money, and there's going to be no cash. Money is going to be in the form of digital currency. And even your health care, in other words, what kind of medications you use, what kind of health conditions you have, is all information on the computer, on your profile. You will not be able to access services once you're in this complete control. In other words, with the press of a button, they can actually cut off your water or your electricity, etc. And you'll be wondering, why would the people would want to do that? Why would authorities want to do that? Well, if you look at what's happening in China, total control, they have what is called a social credit system, where they have cameras everywhere, and people's information is easily accessible via this digital ID, and they can give you discredits or demerits based on your behavior and your actions. For instance, to give you one small example, if you jaywalk across the road and the cameras pick it up almost immediately, if not immediately, it's transferred to the central information, and you can get a demerit or a discredit according to what you've done. If you say something on social media that is unacceptable to the authorities, you can be denied certain accesses and benefits. For instance, the first benefit you could lose is your access to social media. So I can tell you a host of things that relate to this, but be that as it may, it's a very troubling situation, but we're not there yet. But this serves as a warning and a heads up to those people who are interested to know, so that you can be prepared for the kind of draconian arrangements being made in society. And it's all starting in the UK with this digital system. I don't know how far it's going to get, because there's a lot of pushback in that society, where people are protesting already and signing petitions, etc. But as the Bible is the Word of God and it's complete prophecy, despite all the pushback and the demonstrations, eventually the B system will take control of everything on earth. So just be prepared and keep this in mind, and enjoy your weekend further.